Man, you've got this. It ain't gonna be easy, but I know you've got this. Trust me. Yeah, I'm positive. It's because I've figured out something absolutely integral to every single human being on the planet. When I first started as a chef, I was super lucky. It was the golden era of chefing because celebrity chefs were becoming trendy. Gordon Ramsay was killing it in his Hell's Kitchen, Nightmares, all that kind of stuff. People were flocking to become chefs. It was so popular and trendy. People internationally were flocking to become chefs as well, over here in Australia. One of the greatest things that I got out of this, and I didn't know the value at the time, I realize it now 20 years on. When I first started cooking, my chefs would run me through how to cook my dishes, how to set up my section, all the normal stuff. But they gave me this extra little bit of gold, which actually turns out to be more integral than even knowing how to cook. And that is how to do your costings, how to do a stock take, how to manage the finances of the business, how to make sure that your suppliers are giving you the right price, and how to create standard recipes so that you fit within the cost structure of the business. It was a heck of a lot to remember as a young apprentice, but I just remember the rush of feeling like, wow, that I've got something amazing coming to me. It made me feel special because it seemed to me that these are the kinds of details and nuances that only experienced professionals that had a long time in the business would get the privilege of understanding. Fast forward 20 years, and those same things are still relevant today. Costs, measuring, weighing, those are all going to be present in the business. But let's face it, these things are boring and mundane. Who honestly wants to sit at a computer and crunch numbers on a spreadsheet? Let me tell you this. Would you like to be part of the 20% who survive past 5 years in business? Or would you like to be part of the 80% who die within that 5-year period? I know I talk a lot about this, but it's because of this that I speak so passionately about the things that you got to do if you want to stick around long term and turn your cafe or your restaurant into an asset rather than a whole lot of debt, a whole lot of bankruptcy. And yes, I've seen it a lot. I've seen owners come into the restaurant, take the money out of the till, embezzle that money, so to speak, and leave their suppliers hanging high and dry, leave their staff without a job when the creditors finally cut off their supply and the business folds. Alarming, right? Yeah, but you would be surprised how often that kind of thing has happened. It blows my mind. Hospitality is getting a bad reputation as being a risky investment. And I'm sure it's not getting it. I'm sure it actually has it. So here we are. My mission is to turn that around by giving people the insights of how to actually create an asset from their hospitality business. You've got to do the boring stuff. The boring stuff might be getting up every day and writing out a list of things that you need to do that you don't want to do, but you do it because you know that you're supporting your community, the ones that want the coffee, the croissants, the ham and cheese toasties, and the team that comes in absolutely painfully at 5 in the morning. In winter, it's even worse because it's dark, and you're supporting their drive and commitment to come in to service your business. You're also supporting your friends and your family who might also come in, but also the income that you get from your business. Imagine the time when finally your missteps catch up, the bank closes on your business and you no longer have an income to support your family. That's the kind of scenario that I'm talking about. I don't want to go all doomy and gloomy, but I just want to paint a realistic picture of what it is that I've seen over the last 20 years and the transition from going from being a meticulous technician into being a sloppy operator. And I'd like to change paths. I'd like to change trajectories where if you want to start a cafe or a restaurant, that you have the ability through confidence in the market to appeal to a lender, an investor, to invest in your dream. Imagine that scenario. You show up to a VC meeting and they're like, what do you got? Maybe Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, something like this. What do you got? And you pitch them your idea and they just go, wow, I can see you know your numbers. I can see that you've got a track record and history as a technician in this game. I can see that you've done your forecasting. I can see that you've done your research. And all of these things, not one single dish was created. Not one single coffee was poured. This is the thing that people need to get into their minds when they go into business in the hospitality industry. Yes, it is about creativity and flair and flamboyance and customer service and all that cool stuff that keeps us going, that makes it fun. The flavors, the sensations, the aromas, all of that stuff is brilliant. But at the back end, the finances have to be in order. The stock takes need to be right. Otherwise, you've got creditors breathing down your neck, wondering when you're going to pay up. You don't have enough customers to come in, and you don't have enough money to pay off those bills. This is the reason why you need to do the boring stuff. Yes, it's a list in the morning and you check it off. You put it into your calendar, you schedule it, and you check it off one by one by one. Make this an absolute priority. No longer shall you ever have the ability to use time as an excuse for why it's not done. I had a conversation with a young apprentice. He's new in the game. He thinks he's got something, and he does, but it's not experience. And I said, why don't you just get that thing done? And he said, I don't have enough time. I could see the fury and the anger in his eyes. And I thought, you've wasted all this time telling me why you can't do it. Why not make a start? And it's the same at the top level too. Those cafes that start, they come in through a beautifully orchestrated idea. They get it down on paper. They find an investor. They convince them to invest in their dream, and they build that dream. They find other people, staff members, accountants, community groups to promote and build their little dream up. Then it gets boring because it's the same crap over and over and over. Yeah, it's the chopping of onions. It's the packing of foods away. It's the packing of orders away. And it's not creative at all at that level. The creative process is just but a minuscule component of what it takes to run a cafe or a hospitality industry business. It is not going to change. And if that's not you, if you are the flamboyant one, if you are the creative one that cannot stomach doing the boring stuff every single day, you need to find someone who can. Someone who's got the tenacity, the patience, and the skill to execute on those problems precisely, meticulously, and repetitively, all the while you're tracking growth. You're looking at making adjustments to the process, increasing the quality of the products, increasing the amount that you charge, increasing the volume of the customer base through your lead generation and marketing. That's where you can have your creative explosion, and you can really get into the business in a whole different way. The boring stuff, my friends, this is where the money is made. It's not made on TikTok or Instagram. Posts are great, and I love them, and I do it myself because you've got to build attention. You've got to build attention around what you're doing. But if there's no money changing hands, that means you're not paying your bills. That means you're not paying your staff. That means you're not ordering new products. It's the exchange of the money that gives you the freedom to be creative. So you've got to do the boring stuff. Now, here's some really incredible values for people who win at this game. They're creative in their problem-solving process. They're data-driven, and they're meticulous in their operations. You put these things together, and you've got a package that succeeds overall. And that's the reason why the 20% after 5 years are still going. It is because of those things. It's not because of flash mobs or trends on Insta or any of that cool stuff. It's because they do the boring work. Let me say it again. It's because they do the boring work.